So you guys probably know the #1 debate that basically separated the entire Battlefield community into two parts. It is the class system. So some people believe that weapons should be locked to classes and some people don't, and while they're both giving us some interesting reasons, everyone these days have their own opinion, and you know, when you look at it from their perspective, both groups might be right. So today we're going to talk about Battlefield 4, why that class system wasn't the perfect thing. You know, some people think that because Battlefield 4 was a legendary game, it had no flaws, but that's completely wrong. We're going to take a look at some charts. We're going to take a look at what EA is not actually doing the open class system for the benefits of the game, and you know, some sort of throwback to Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 5. We have charts here to discuss. We're going to take a look at Battlefield 2042 and why 2042 isn't really considered a worthy opponent for taking a look at it from the class perspective, because 2042 has specialists and they really affect the entire thing. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I'm pretty sure it will be a very informative video, so stick around and let's just get started. So first of all, I want to talk about why I like class locked weapons. Reason #1 is it causes less drama. People will just stop complaining about everything and just drop this and get back to their life. Because I'm pretty sure the community had enough of this. DICE had enough of this. I'm pretty sure they will not take a turn. Like, the moment they started doubling down on this, it was obvious that it's not gonna go all the way from open class to locked class. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen with DICE. I'm pretty sure the next game, like 95% sure that the next game will be open. Like, classes will be open, there will be no weapon restrictions, and that's gonna be it, unless something unusual happens and DICE actually decides to turn things around. However, reason #2 is that, in my opinion, EA is not going for open class because it's better for the game. Basically, they're doing this for business. Like it or not, new players are what EA is aiming for. However, the number they're aiming for is completely delusional, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. That number is delusional. They will never be able to even get near 100 million players in Battlefield, despite giving away a battle royale for free and, you know, all those kind of stuff. It's just not going to be able to compete with Call of Duty and Fortnite. Battlefield has always been a niche game, and it never has been able to compete with a mainstream FPS game like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is way more casual. So many people play it, from 5-year-old kids to NBA players, and you just can't ignore it. You just can't ignore the fact that Call of Duty has a wide player base from all around the world, from all ages, everything. Battlefield is just a niche game. You need to be a Battlefield fan to be able to play this game and enjoy, actually. So the fact that EA is taking a look at it from the business perspective and not for the well-being of the franchise actually worries me a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really like going open class system. And reason #3 probably is because it's common sense for me, because whatever Battlefield I've played, except for Battlefield 2042, has had the locked weapon system, and that's something I don't really want to see change, because that's just human nature. And in my opinion, if something doesn't need to be changed, then leave it be. These guys are trying to reinvent the wheel, and that's not something that's going to work out well. However, I just came across a Reddit post, and there was some interesting data right there. It's basically some charts dividing people based on hours they've played as different classes in different Battlefield games. And it's going to start with Battlefield 2042. Now, this is very interesting. Taking a look at the Battlefield 2042 chart here, these are classes by how many hours they've been played. So as you can see, support has been played by 36.6% of the players, while assault has been played by 29.4%, engineer 18.8, and finally recon 15.2. Now, this is a very accurate chart in my opinion, that just looks like it. The dude that actually created these charts explains everything, every single detail about how they made these charts, but just taking a look at it, you can see that support is being played more in Battlefield 2042, and for obvious reasons. One of the reasons why support is being played so much in 2042 is because of specialists, and one specialist specifically, which is Falk. Like it or not, Falk is really overpowered. You can just heal yourself 24/7, running around, and you have ammo bags. You're a one-man army. So because of that, in my opinion, 2042, because of these specialists, isn't a really good indicator of how things are when it comes to classes and how favorable those classes are by the community. But the reason why people are really shifting towards support is that support is actually in 2042 playing the role of assault in, for example, a game like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. You can heal heal yourself, you have perfect weapons and perfect specialists, and that's going to be it. Even for Assault in 2042, you have Mackay and other Assault specialists that are really great compared to, like, for example, Engineer specialists or Recon maybe. So that's about the chart for 2042, but now let's take a look at Battlefield 3. This one's very interesting, actually. Taking a look at Battlefield 3, this medic here, which is 40.2% of the players, that's not medic, that's probably Assault. And as you can see, Assault is being played by 40% of the community. That's a big number. Recon Support and Engineer are divided evenly, I would say. Recon 19.8, Support 22.4, and Engineer 17.6. So as you can see, there's a huge bias here going towards Assault class in Battlefield 3. And I'm pretty sure if you look at Battlefield 4, because there is no chart here for Battlefield 4 in this thread, but if you make a simple chart just like this for Battlefield 4, you can see the exact same results there for that game as well. Because, well, Battlefield 4 had a really powerful Assault class. You were basically a medic, you could heal yourself, you had access to assault rifles, and that was all that the community back then needed to start playing one specific class and just not look at the others. Looking at Battlefield 5, this one's more interesting. Battlefield 5 is having the exact same thing for Assault class, except for the fact that medic is now being played a lot more compared to Battlefield 3. So Assault is being played by 33.6% of players, while medic is being played by 27.7%, support 18.5%, and recon 20.1%. Again, as you can see, assaults are biased. Really, a lot of people are actually choosing to play assault class over other classes. However, this time it's not like Battlefield 3. They're not doing it because they wanted to heal themselves. They're doing it because they have access to assault rifles. Now, this is very interesting. So this is actually causing some sort of unbalanced behavior when it comes to choosing classes by the community. And keep in mind, weapons are locked here. So why is that? What is going on here? Before we answer that, let's take a look at Battlefield 1. This is Battlefield 1, and as you can see, the balance actually hits you in the face right away. You can see that Assault is being played by 26.5%, while Medic is 23.5%, Support is 24.8%, and Recon is 25.2% of the player base. This is very interesting. This actually demonstrates the amount of perfectness in Battlefield 1's balance for classes and for weapons, basically. So you can see that players are choosing to play Recon as much as they choose to play Assault and other classes. Why is that? Some people say that Battlefield 1 was easier to balance. Battlefield 1 was representing World War I weapons. Those weapons are really easier to balance, which is correct to a degree. But in my opinion, even if you give the same game to DICE right now, they will mess it up. They won't be able to balance it. And that's the reason. That's the reason why open class isn't going to work if they have the same approach towards weapons and towards gadgets and classes. The same approach of Battlefield 2042 or even Battlefield 5. So it all boils down to one simple question. Can DICE actually balance gadgets and weapons to a degree where they don't actually define what people want to play? You have to have a basic balance for people not to be biased towards a specific weapon category, right? And that was something that was taken care of in a game like Battlefield 1. People are in love with Battlefield 4. Don't get me wrong. In my opinion, the best Battlefield game that I've played is Battlefield 4. Now about Battlefield 4, some people say that they just want a remaster of Battlefield 4 with no changes and that's going to be it, some new maps, and they will be happy. In my opinion, that's completely wrong. Now, a lot of people actually believe that Battlefield 4 is a legendary game, and I completely agree, but that doesn't mean that the class system back then didn't have flaws. In my opinion, weapon balance was great. There was no OP assault rifle. Well, some people say the AEK 971 was really overpowered, but it had a direct counterpart, which was the FAMAS, and it was really powerful. Some people might say the Ace-23 was a perfect gun, but Ace-23 had a direct counterpart, and that was the F2000, which was a really good weapon, in my opinion, a even better weapon. So Battlefield 4 had the weapon balance correct, or at least it was improved during time. But what the problem for Battlefield 4 was the class system that was completely biased towards Assault. So most of my playtime, as I remember, I just played Assault. Unless my team actually needed an engineer or there was a vehicle that was hurting the team. So I just want to help the team, switch to engineer, take care of that vehicle, whatever it is, and then go back to Assault. Especially in maps, in close quarter maps like Locker or Metro, the only class that I played was Assault. So Battlefield 4 had some flaws. It was really biased towards Assault, and Assault was, like it or not, the most powerful class in the game. So a direct remaster of Battlefield 4 isn't gonna work in 2025. In my opinion, the class system will probably just remain open unless DICE decides to do something completely unreal and lock weapons all of a sudden, which is really unlikely to happen. But again, open class system can be actually good, but in an environment that weapons and gadgets are completely balanced and there is no flaw when it comes to balancing stuff, which is something in my opinion DICE isn't capable of doing. Just taking a look at Battlefield 2042 and how weapons actually work in 2042. I don't care some people say we don't have a meta in Battlefield 2042 because that's completely stupid to say something like that about an FPS game. In an FPS game, there's always a meta. Doesn't matter if it's gadget or a weapon or a specialist, just like Battlefield 2042. Even in hero shooters like, I don't know, Delta Force, Rainbow Six, we have meta heroes, like meta operators in Rainbow Six. People saying we don't have meta is absolutely fucking ridiculous, and it has to stop. Okay, you guys need to think. Actually, we have meta even in 2042. Unlike it or not, one of the weapons that is completely incomparable to anything else when it comes to ammo capacity and every other aspect of a weapon that you want to compare is the PP29. That weapon is completely unreal. That was not the case in Battlefield 4. Let's be honest. SMGs in 2042 are completely out of balance. We have unbalanced assault rifles. Even in the LMGs, some LMGs in 2042 are completely useless, whereas if you look at Battlefield 4, they felt like actual weapons. You could feel like you can get kills with this, and there was not some sort of huge bias towards an LMG or two, but that's the case in Battlefield 2042, and that's why it's going to be really hard for me to trust DICE because they're failing to balance weapons in 2042. Now, these guys for the next Battlefield game are trying so hard to just tie classes to gadgets. So now with open class system, you have gadgets and weapons to balance, and you have training paths as well. Training paths already look unbalanced. I'm pretty sure they need a lot of changes to make things balanced with the training paths. So with all that said, we have three key elements for DICE to balance before we can call open class system something that actually works: weapons, gadgets, and training paths. So do you guys really believe that DICE can do something like that? My answer is a short no to that, but if you guys have any other opinion, do make sure to go down in the comment section and let me know that. Also, let me know if you are against open class system or you're down with it, and just give me your reason. If there's something you disagree with me, just go ahead and let me know that, because having debates in the comment section is always good. People most of the time start to use reason over emotions, and that's a really good thing to see in the comment section. So I want you guys to let me know what you think and actually start a conversation down there. Get to a common ground when it comes to this class system and this whole debate that has set the community on fire in the past 2 months. So I hope this video was helpful, hope this video was somewhat informative, and I thank you guys for watching. Until next time guys, stay cool.